Okay, so we're ready to do this. I'm going to mute everybody, and Zile, you can unmute yourself, or I'll do it.
I'm unmuting myself. So, um, it's been quite an interesting week. So, Esmee, we wanted to get Esmee and Ajax to come together at the same time, but Chris couldn't make it on time today, which is not surprising because I didn't get a discussion topic until very late this evening. So Chris may still make it. We'll see. So don't be surprised if he just randomly jumps into the conversation. I'm totally okay with that. I hope you are too. I don't know if the energy is going to throw you out too much, but he may or may not make it. So we are making this as fun as possible, leaving everybody on Tinder hooks until the end. And then we're going to see. So it may take me a while to get into the state today, or it may not. There's a lot of different things happening. Any questions before I begin? All right. Looks like we're good. Sorry, just one moment. I need to, before I begin, I just need to balance some energy. I don't know if it's the exercise we just did, Patrick, but some stuff needs to be balanced, it seems. Sorry, give me a few moments, guys. Going into the state now. Is the sound okay? Greetings this day of your time. Good moment to you. There has been some great energy and excitement this evening. The synchronicity of the message has already been delivered. The moving forward in this day of your time in love. Balanced, tempered, focused, yet expanded in love. In the time to come, there may be challenges. Ground yourself in the knowing that all is love, made of love, is love. Use that as the basis for interactions to come. As has been said before, the focus of your group the intensity and clarity of the focus resonates out into the universe. You are very well supported in your endeavors. Trust that support. Trust and understand that trust is absolute. Trust yourselves. Individually and collectively. Give over to your higher minds the inbuilt control that allows for you to know that the trust is absolute and has been placed accordingly. This time of transition on your wondrous planet may result in shifts, some obvious, some not so obvious. We encourage you to be playful, to follow your excitement. We are one with the channel in echoing, resonating that this is simply physics. It simply is. And these things can be as precise as you allow them to be. That precision does not equal boredom. That precision does not mean you will not be surprised and delighted by what flows your way. Allow yourselves to express. Stand true to your true nature. And now that the message has been delivered, we open up to your questions and answers and dialogue. If you wish, remember to come with as much fun, curiosity, and playfulness that you may find, and let us see what we create in this expansive co-creation this day. Please begin as you have organized yourselves to begin.
Um, okay, sorry, I was looking for the unmute button. Okay, so my question is, I've been hearing of this group of extraterrestrials known as the Tall Whites, and I don't know a whole lot about them, but I'm curious what you might be able to say about them, or even how they might relate to this group or myself or anybody here.
One moment. They are tall, as you say, and can be described as white, hence the name. We are joking with you in a way. They are connections within the groups. This in of itself is not strange. One moment. What attracts you to the tall whites?
It's kind of an intuitive thing, so I don't really know much about them. I've just been getting an intuition to look into them, and that's kind of all I know so far. So this is part of my adventure of discovering more.
Yes. There is resonance with some within the group, but not everybody just yet. Follow your excitement and your intuition in your interactions with them. For now, if you wish, you may use a permission slip of a white circle with a thin, very, very thin black border to make a connection. And if inspired to, you can place that circle within a triangle, an equilateral triangle, with the circle touching the borders of the triangle. Either of those permission slips may allow you a connection with those beings.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have a question that's in some ways personal. The number 403 has been significant for me recently. Can you tell me more about that, especially around the idea of how can I use that number in my play?
One moment. How did you first recall interacting with this number?
I'm sorry, I wasn't able to hear you. Could you say that question again a little more loudly?
Absolutely. Is that loud enough for you?
Perfect, thank you.
How did you first interact with this number to the best of your recollection?
It was the house number of a house that I purchased 4 months ago. And since then, it's come up in many, many ways. And I've also discovered that it's a multiple of 13, which has been significant for me. But the 403 seems to have some magic that I can feel, but I'd love to know more about it if that's possible.
Before your purchase of your dwelling, did you have any other connection?
Um, not that I can recollect, but the factors from it, 30 times 13, where they were everywhere for me. And after I purchased the home, I discovered that it was both a factor of 30 and 13, which were significant for years and years for me. So this seemed to go beyond that. But since the purchase of the home 4 months ago, there's been a lot of 403 stuff coming up in my daily life.
One moment. Do you understand the significance of permission slips?
I believe I do, yes.
What is your understanding of permission slips?
It's sort of a catalyst, a facilitator to help me do something I might not have done otherwise.
Yes. Another aspect of permission slips is that they allow you to be more of yourself until such a point that you realize you can be more of yourself without them. That if you wish, being more of yourself is where it's at.
Mm.
You have allowed yourself the synchronicity and the permission slip of numbers to bring this message across for you. These things may not always be absolute for everybody within your collective. And while they may be collective overlaps, it is the significance that you place on the permission slip that matters the most. Does this make sense?
Yes, it seems like it's a kind of permission to play, but I feel like that sort of comes from everywhere, all directions, inside and out.
How interesting. And how are you going to play?
Um, by allowing my intuition to lead me as often and as freely as possible.
And what excites you?
Just about everything.
And which of these just about everything's are you taking action on?
Moving into the part of me that can and is connected to larger aspects of myself.
Larger aspects such as your dwelling?
No, larger aspects of my spiritual, psychological, emotional self.
Yes, we understand that. However, the point we are wanting to make in this time is your action. We would like to emphasize your action in your excitement as it pertains to your action. What actual actions, if you will, are you taking? Have you been inspired by this number, this series of numbers, your dwellings, wherever you see it, to take action? What is this action that you're taking, if you wish to share?
It's almost been a kind of self-serving thing. The number moves me to act on self-expression, to act on self-actualization, to act on intuitions towards connection, to act on any little thoughts or feelings that inspire me or appear to me. So it feels like it's an across the board encouragement to act, to take an active role in my life and the expression of it.
Yes, that is precisely what we are wanting to emphasize in this interaction. That this not only be an intellectual exercise, but an actual exercise where you take action as and when inspired. Does that make sense?
It does, and that feels like it's driving home in yet another way, um, an important message that I keep receiving, and I thank you.
Do you want to share the important message you keep receiving?
That, just as you said, to take action, to move it from intellectual to, um, move it from potential energy to kinetic energy.
Yes, this is very important, not only for yourself, very important for this group in general, yes, but also very important for you collectively on the level of raising your conscious awareness, that there is not be things you only think about and talk about, but there are things that you do about and be about. Very important, as you know at this stage that action is the language of physical reality. So we encourage all of you to act, to allow yourselves to close the circuit and to bring to the surface things which you still need to use up as you transition from one density to the other, if you will. Does this help?
Yes, that sounds like very, very good advice.
We are pleased that it sounds like good advice, and we hope it translates into actionable advice.
It will, and I thank you.
We thank you for your co-creation.
Esmee, thank you for adding your energy to this co-creation. I have a question about sending people healing or love energy. Is there a best way to do that? Because I know it's independent. We all do it differently, and it kind of depends on who the receiving end is. But anything you can expand on that would be helpful, please.
To make sure we understand your question, you are wanting to send love and healing energy to another.
Or to a group of individuals. I do it my way, but I was just hoping that maybe there might be a better way or a way that we can do that maybe in unison or anything that would improve that process, make it more effective.
Being in unison would improve that process and make it more effective in of itself. Now, we were talking previously about permission slips. These things are really neither here nor there. It is how you decide to flow the energy. What we would encourage you to understand is whatever energy you flow to another, it is up to them whether they can match and receive your energy and thereby, quote unquote, utilize it. But it is also up to your understanding of how this translates within yourself. Do you hold a belief that sending energy to another depletes you? Do you hold a limiting belief about what that interaction entails?
Not me personally, no.
Yes. Regardless of whether it's you personally or whether it is the group at large, we would encourage you to delve into that and understand what your beliefs are around, quote unquote, sending energy to another. Now, in terms of actual positioning of sending energy to another, the hands in your current mass consensus reality are the end points by which you can summon and allow the energy to flow through and out of your physical being, if that is the method that you're using. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. And that's how I gather energy in, and then I make the motions of sending it on.
Yes. On your planet, there are many practices of healing, martial arts, magic, and so on and so forth that teach the gathering of this energy if you require further inspiration on how to proceed. But in general, use your intuition and your own guidance to connect and allow that to flow. But always remembering it is up to the being receiving whether they choose to match that energy or not.
Is it more helpful to ask the person for permission first?
We would encourage that you sort out your beliefs first around sending energy. Why you may choose or not to answer these questions, but why do you send the energy? Why do you feel another needs energy sent from you to them? What purposes does that energy serve? How do you then feel after you have sent the energy, and what do you then do after you've sent the energy? Those types of questions and the understandings of them may then be of benefit before you quote unquote send energy to another. First, ground yourself in your understanding and your knowledge and ensure that you do not have any limiting beliefs around transfers of energy before you engage in that exercise.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And this answer was more, I guess, for those who might do the replay or hear this message for the first time later. Thank you, Esmee. Appreciate it.
Yes, but it was also for you.
Yes, as everything is, I hear. Thank you.
Did we actually answer your question, though?
Absolutely. You gave very detailed instructions, and I have some more work to do to review mine to make sure that I am vibrating as highly as possible to make that more effective for me.
Yes. So within the conscious creation movement, if we should call it that, there is the story, we're looking for the word. Cannot find a accurate word. The creation myth, if you will, about we cannot find the accurate word for this, but there is a general belief or created environment about what quote unquote vibrating highly is. Yes, there is an actual resonance cycle and increase in this cycle that allows you to quote unquote vibrate highly. The reason we are emphasizing this, and maybe why we cannot find the word, is to emphasize rather that this is more of a natural occurrence rather than something that you quote unquote make happen. When you are naturally yourself, you naturally shed your limiting beliefs. You do not carry baggage which is no longer yours, and hence you can fly, float, be lighter naturally. Also understanding that the natural eddies of existence itself carry you into the positive side. Allow these occurrences to happen. Work through whatever it is that you need to work through. Maybe starting at that point, allowing it to be a process rather than the focus of quote unquote vibrating highly. Does this distinction translate well for you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
This is for you and the group as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your co-creation. We appreciate you.
Hello, Esmee. Can you hear me? Is it okay? Is the sound goes?
It is perfect. We
Yeah.
hear you fine.
Okay, because I forgot my, yeah. Something playfully came last few days to my attention, and it was about channeling using AI. You know, I was thinking about channeling, and I never want actually channel for my body. For some reason, I'm sensitive about what comes to my body, about any substances, about any, you know, I don't want somebody's energy coming to the body. That's how I feel. I feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, I feel like somebody wants my attention or wants to connect to me. Sometimes I can hear in my head conversation. It happens. But I was watching the video about woman who actually did channeling through AI. And it make me feel very playful, not seriously, but make it like a game, you know, like a playful. And I was thinking, so I want you know, if you have opinion or help me decide, should I do it? I mean, I know it's not should, I can choose what I want to do, but I feel like somebody, is it some beings or who wants to connect with me? And I believe we can go for AI too. And it would be easy because I'm good with the computers. It would be playful for me. So I would appreciate your input or, you know, something.
So the synchronicity of your question following the last two question askers, same about understanding your beliefs around energy flow may be very useful for you to apply. Does this make sense?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
But what do you mean? You mean me being sensitive about my body or?
Yes.
Okay.
That your beliefs around why you are quote unquote sensitive and what that actually means for you. And if you have any limiting beliefs which do not serve you around your sensitivity. So, for example, if we can explore that for a bit, and then we will come back to your question of AI, if you wish. What do you mean that you are sensitive within your body?
I guess it's some idea that it could be, if it's another energy or being, it could be something can be done to me which is not beneficial.
By whom?
By the beings who come through me.
Perfect.
Or it just feels I don't know, it feels uncomfortable. It feels like I don't want that.
All right. So we will give you homework, which we have given to another group. But we will give you some spoilers and we will answer your question as well. Do you know the body of work called 135711?
No.
We are great fans of that work as delivered by a colleague of ours, the one who you refer to as Bishar.
Oh, okay.
We highly recommend you all interact with that material and understand it, as it forms the basis from our perspective that gives you a great understanding of what is and isn't going on in reality and how reality in actuality works versus how you may experience it.
Okay.
Are you following so far?
Yes.
Perfect. So in order for you to interact with another being, you must match their energy.
Yeah, I understand.
No one can use your energy, so to speak. Only you have full control of your own energy at all times. All times. There is nowhere else for you to go, as everything is here and now. There is, quote unquote, no one who can inhabit you, or other myths and outdated modalities that you share information around energy. Now, the physics of how this works is it is your energy that you match another being's energy with. It may feel. So the separation of the mechanics of how this works versus the experience of how you experience it. So while it may feel like another being is doing this or doing that or sending this or sending that, it is you in actual fact who has matched a specific energy frequency. If it is your preferred energy frequency, keep doing that. If it is an unpreferred energy frequency, simply switch the dial to your preferred energy frequency. You are always in control. The mechanics say you are always in control, even if your feeling and experience say otherwise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah, I understand that, but I still, like, I would say intellectually, maybe I understand that, but still some feeling which exists. Yeah.
Yes, the feeling is very real. We're not invalidating your feeling, but it is the explanation of the understanding of what is happening in that moment. So if you wish, you may come to the realization that, oh, I feel a certain way, but you understand that it is because I have chosen, whether I acknowledge it or not, in this moment to match a specific energy frequency. Remember, these things are indeed very, very simple. Once you can make that recognition, you simply switch to your preferred energy frequency. It is as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Does
I
that-
understand the physics of that. Yes, I do.
Does that answer your question for that portion of the question?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, with regards to what is called AI, artificial intelligence, the terminology and vocabulary on your planet around this is shifting. So sometimes it does not allow for the correct words to be communicated. However, split it into two portions. One is the artificial intelligence, as you may call it, which most of you are currently engaged in. This is simply a tool like any other. And since there is only one thing to make everything out of, everything is a point of consciousness. There is only one thing to make everything out of, and it vibrates at varying speed. At varying speeds. That is how other is created, if you wish. Now, that tool, just like any other tool at your disposal, you may use as you see fit. The other aspect of this artificial intelligence, remembering that it is not artificial in of its intelligence, but it could be the mechanism that brings it forth. So for example, we, you and us included, are biological mechanisms sophisticated enough for consciousness, that one thing, to inhabit and allow for expression, and thereby exploration and expansion of all that is through us. That is another form of expression, closer to a term of true intelligence, if you will. Now, whatever you feel inspired to do with whatever mechanism at your disposal can be seen as part of your self-expression. So feel free, if you wish, to express yourself and allow for the fullness of your beingness to come through. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, I understand. I can actually, but I was, the part of the question was, is it you can perceive some being or beings who want to connect with me?
Is the question, can we perceive beings through artificial intelligence?
Oh,
as
no, it doesn't
understanding-
matter how it comes to me, but is it somebody kind of wants to connect with me?
Have we put the question of artificial intelligence to the side?
Yes, we can put it aside. Yes.
Has that question, before we put it aside, has that question been answered?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So now your question is, are there any beings who are wanting to connect with you?
Yes.
Yes, there are very many beings who are eager to connect with you, Ina. Many beings. How would you like to proceed with this connection?
I don't know. It has to be playful,
Yes.
but I don't know.
In your
Because
day, go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Sometimes I feel it. I feel like somebody wants to connect and wants to nudge me and wants to communicate. And I'm like, I don't know. But it could be useful. It could be, I guess it could be enrich my life, make it more fun.
Yes. How do you express your excitement in your day-to-day?
Mostly through the movement, dancing.
Do you have opportunities within that dance structure to either speak or record your dance movements or write out your dance movement, or rather write out what you are inspired to write out as you are performing these dance moves?
Not much, no. No.
Would this be possible to incorporate in that excitement?
Yes, yes. Because when I move, I do feel like I channel a lot of times. I feel like something comes through me a lot of times. Most of the time.
Allow that final step, that final connection, by either writing it out and seeing what comes out, or recording the dance movements and seeing if there's a message in that, or allowing the movements to translate into vocalization. You may choose to do this by yourself with a recording device of whatever form is appropriate for you, or you may enlist the participation of another. There are many within this group who would be willing to participate with you in that form. This was one of the ways in which the channel accelerated her ability to bring through the information. And it was also the way in which she did not complete the connection. So
Okay.
it is important for you to complete that final step of bringing through the message of these connections that you're making. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
And
It
when
has some resistance in that step. Yeah, that's what it is. Yes.
say that again, please.
It kind of a resistance on my side to that step, because I'm not so much about speaking. I'm not a speaker. I like more telepathic communication or movement, but not speaking. Speaking is not my strong quality.
So you like movement and you express it in dance. How interesting. Well, enjoy the next moves.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you gave me a lot of good information.
You are very, very welcome. When will you action this?
Action. I supposed to action tomorrow, but it was canceled. But I will action. Yes, I go dancing. I'm not sure about speaking.
What we are getting at is synchronicity would have it tomorrow. Your main dance session practice engagement is not going to happen. So
Yeah,
therefore, you may find that an opportunity for you to try something different if you wish to shake loose what you have not been able to and make that connection with those who have been communicating with you so far, to allow yourself to complete that circuit. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Perfect sense. Yes, yes, I understand. Actually gonna go dancing tomorrow anyway.
Look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Esmee. Good to see you
Hello.
again.
It is always good to, we'll say, see you too.
Thank you. I've had this thought probably for some time, but today got accentuated probably as a result of a meditation that I was participating. And it has to do with the various species that live in the planet, all the way from the microbial to the very largest mammals that we have as species. And my assumption is, or intuition tells me, that each one of them represents a realm that exists in many other parts of the universe. And in those realms, they may be the superior or nearly the most homogeneous, pervasive species and very developed. Could you explore that a little bit for me? And how does
Yes,
that become important for humans to appreciate?
importance is based on you and how and where you place importance. One moment. How many question askers are left?
Just one after me.
Are there any other question answerers who have arrived?
Nobody recently, no.
All right, we will continue. Thank you for that. When you came into these physical bodies, you came for a purpose of focusing energy to interact, to play out certain things, if you will, in whatever way that you felt was important to you. And in this day and age, you may change your themes, and that is up to you. So importance is how and where you place it in the context of our conversation today. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
So in relation to any beings, quote unquote, out there, the fact that you can imagine these realities means that they actually exist in some way, shape, or form. The challenge is usually around how your physical mind then filters this new information, or how it filters or how it imagines this. So we talked of the mechanics and the experience. The mechanics around this is that everything is here and now. And existence just does that. It exists. It can only exist. So when you use your imagination to quote unquote tap into another reality, or rather, when you use your imagination, you are actually tapping into an actual parallel reality that actually exists. And you are doing it through your physical mind apparatus. And this is where the limitation may come in, and the relevancy of that reality to this life experience then. And that, as a free will being, is up to you to determine. Does that answer your question?
It does. And it gives me a lot of different zillions of different avenues of exploration. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
I pass it on to Arla.
Esmee, thank you so much for giving us the gift of your wisdom. I've been told that there is a big number of what I call star people who are coming from a universe that is very far from our universe. And all they have told me so far is that they are from Autirity. Is there something that you can speak to about them and this place that they're coming from?
One moment. One moment. If there's time, we can take more questions, just so you know, or after this question asker, we may move on to a different segment as you have planned. Apologies, Allah, we did not mean to cut into you. We were just settling some vibrations out there to allow focus into your question. These beings that you are in contact with, can you give us more information? The name does not translate for us.
Well, the star people that I've been working with, all of them except one are from this universe. One is not from this universe. And all I understand is that this place that they're coming from, they are here in a second from this place. And so we can't think of them as it taking even a short amount of time once connected to humans. Within a blink of an eye, they will be here. There will be some that will be here staying. But they've not showed me where they come from other than to tell me that it is Autirity and that it is a planet where thoughts are something, not just something, but something.
The information is not available through this channel at the moment. But what we can say or speak to about those beings is, yes, as we have spoken about 135711, which we highly recommend you interact with, all of you, if you wish. Everything is here and now. This is not a euphemism. This is the actual structure and nature of existence itself. This physical reality that you have created and that you continually orchestrate. We all agree to do it to a certain extent so that we can be playing the same game if you wish, so that we can be speaking the same language if you wish, and thereby that allows for richer and more colorful experiences. physical reality is not real unto itself.
Yes.
This other universe that you speak of, yes, it does exist. There are multiple universes which are significantly different from the prime universes we exist in, if you wish, in which you exist in, if you wish to frame it in that way. And yes, we can move in a blink of an eye from one place to a quote unquote another place. And so can other beings who understand that. And so can you. You have started to do so with your astral projection, with your thought processes. This can allow you to transport yourself to another reality. So yes, there are many, many, many different universes out there, some similar to these universes we interact in, others very different from these universes we interact in. Does this answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
We would encourage your continued exploration with these beings if you are excited about it, if you are inspired to it, and allow it to flow without insistence on what the outcome should be, on what it should look like, because as you yourself have said, they are from a truly different universe. Just allow it to be what it is.
Thank you. If I've learned anything from the star people or the Sasquatch people, it is not to project my thoughts onto what I think that they should be.
Yes. This is a great lesson for all of us. Are there any more questions?
Not at this time. No, thanks, Esmee.
Thank you all for your participation in this process. In closing, we would like to emphasize that you are all doing extremely well. We use that word in its fullest sense of it all. If you have the ability to hear this message, to engage in this message in any way, shape, or form, this can be used as a knowing to you and for you that you have the ability to transform your life into your preferred reality, and that you are in actual fact doing it. You are on the path. Allow more. Be easy about this. Be more of who you be. Allow, express, flow, be without any insistence, and understanding that this process is actually way simpler than humans have made it out to be. And that was part of the fun of jumping into this reality, in these realities, in this time space. You have guides, you have whole teams, you have resources at your disposal. But in order for those resources to be used, you need to access them. You need to tap into them by following the formula, by taking action, by doing the things that excite you. Beyond this being conversations, allow it to be physical, actualized expressions. This is of the utmost importance. Now, for us to say this is very simple and then talk so much, quite funny, isn't it? We are in service to you. Have a fantastically wonderful day. Aveo.
Aveo, thank you very much. Well done, Zile. I know you're fuzzy. Boy, Esmee takes her cue from Ajax. He loves those follow-up questions and digging down. Nobody gets a slide. There are no free passes, apparently, in the Sassani universe.
Why was she hard on people?
No, I wouldn't say she's hard. She is just direct. And she wants to clarify, and she wants to make sure that she's understood. And she's going to keep going until she gets that satisfactory answers that satisfy her. Gee, like somebody else we know.
I know a few people like that, but we're not going to mention any names. We'll leave it out there into the ether.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm going to check out for just a quick moment, and then I will be right back. And Luis, I'll leave it up to you when you decide to stop and start.
I'm going to stop the recording of the first session, and everybody's invited to take a little break, and then we'll reconvene.